and welcome back. We are here with the second half of Odyssey and Talon Redshirts. Before we went on break, we had 1 versus 1, both sides, and both sides having very different kind of performances on both of the maps. We had Talon Redshirts taking a pretty convincing Busan, but then Odyssey just taking a very convincing second map on Watchpoint Gibraltar. So I'm interested to see what changes these teams are going to make and what we think they need to work on. What do you think, Adam? What do these teams need to work on?
I mean, when it comes to Odyssey, they pulled off a really, really nice dive, looking very coordinated. Mist being a very standout player, getting first picks a lot of the time, doing just very consistent work with the Dragon Blades as he was playing that Genji. And Talon Redshirts have had their DPS show up pretty consistently as well. Salaryman being pretty standout on that Ashe, getting pretty big bobs, just great damage and good picks. And one of the reasons they fell at the end of Gibraltar there, and of course, not including the C9, which was the old Charlie Niner, pretty unfortunate, but he fell first. And then that forced Talon Redshirts to give Odyssey space, and that's what ended up causing the C9. If I'm the Talon Redshirts right now, what I need from my players is for my front line to be a little more aggressive, I think. Right now, they were a little passive. The double shield, like I said, doesn't have as much territory control as the dive does, especially when it comes to the high ground. They can always retreat to there, and no one's really going to be able to punish it. They've been doing all right for the previous 2 maps, but I think there's definitely room for improvement. The support line for both teams has been pretty good. Rip and Pippin, of course, playing the on Gibraltar, I noticed, had some very nice anti-nades, whereas in his counterpart, of course, Sparkles, I believe, was also incredibly consistent. So I think it really comes down to the front line of these teams, especially given both the teams have pretty good DPS lines. Talon Redshirts, definitely. I want to see some more variance. They were only playing the double shield on Gibraltar, which isn't typically a double shield favored map. So I definitely think we're going to see how both these teams decide to adapt when they go on to our next map, which is going to be Numbani.
Yeah, Numbani, very high ground centric map, especially on that first point. There's a lot of high ground on the defense, and it's very, very different how you choose to approach the high ground, because usually, almost always, the defending team is set up on the high ground, and it's very, very important that you, as the attacking team, approach the high ground in a good way. Otherwise, you can just be deleted from the high ground.
Definitely. And I mean, a lot of that comes down to the composition you're playing, right? Like, as I was talking about, the Odyssey had a very convincing dive, very coordinated. So I think it's curious that Talon Redshirts decided to take the map to Numbani. As I say that, I believe, never mind, I must have been mistaken. But it appears that Talon Redshirts may have made a tactical error taking to Numbani, rather, sorry. Just because the first point is so attacker favored if you're playing dive and the opposing team is, and that control of the high ground, like you said, provides an easy retreat, easy cover for your DPS. And when you have that room and you have players like Mist, it's going to be pretty difficult for Talon Redshirts to take a win here on Numbani.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get into Numbani, I'm very excited to see what strategies both teams play out.
Definitely. All right, so it looks like we're going to be starting Numbani here. Both teams, it's going to be Odyssey on the attacking side. First off, as I said, they were the players that like to play at the dive, were very coordinated with it. So I think we're going to see them play it again. Not exactly sure, of course, at the beginning of the map, but the defending team, we can usually tell their composition from the beginning. Looks like they're going to be playing the double shield again. It seems to be the comfort pick comp for them, or maybe not, baiting us with the Roadhog. Roadhog Zari, an interesting tank comp. I doubt we'll see it here though, as it looks like they will be. Oh, I was actually mistaken. Odyssey are going to be the defending team first. Going to be coming off with the pretty standard double shield here, with a Torb Ashe and a Baptiste Brig backline. This team is very, very hard to dive. Think about it, the Torb pressuring Tracers and Genjis very, very well with his turret. Brig, obviously, with the hard CC and his stun. Definitely a very hard team to dive into, but it doesn't even look like, as of right now anyway, that Talon Redshirts are going to be going for that. Of course, the attacking team usually changes last minute, and there we go. We see they're going to be coming out with a double shield as well, but an interesting pick is they're going to be using the Pharah Mercy.
Yeah, Pharah Mercy, especially on points of the high ground and points with not a lot of high ground, with not a lot of cover from the sky. Very open maps like Numbani, which is a very powerful pick, as we see flanking around on this side, and immediately a pick onto Rip and Pippin. Brutal for Odyssey there. That is just the last person you'd want to lose first in a team fight is your Baptiste in this meta. He just, as I've said over and over and over and over again, just provides so much healing, and that is a quick fight win for Talon Redshirts. I'm interested to see if Odyssey is going to try and recontest the point. I don't think they will have the time, so they will attempt to defend the streets portion.
Definitely, and you can see there that Half Fiber is going to be switching off the Torb onto McCree, which I think is a very smart move. Torb not going to be getting very much value against the comp that Talon Redshirts are going to be running here, and the McCree is very good at pressuring down Pharah. A lot of them, like you said, Baptiste is really the last person you want to be losing there. And we saw immediately after Orisa fell for good reason. When you only have Brig heals, your Orisa isn't going to be living. Brig heals, your Orisa isn't going to be living for very long.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say that Link, does go down, but Luminescence is there to res, and that is a crucial difference between these two comps. Is that Talon Redshirts does have the Mercy, does have the Resurrect, and so if Rip and Pippin goes down, they do not have a Resurrect. The Brig is their only healer, but. Oh, the barrage from Blue Wolf finds Winterhaven and Hellfiber, and that is a dominant pickoff, dominant team fight for Talon Redshirts going deeper into streets.
Definitely. They did have to use 3 ults to push that through, though, and even though they did win pretty definitively. What I might like to see is after this rally, Sparkles maybe switching from the Brig. Brig's use in double shield is usually to ward off flankers, and given the comp that Talon Redshirts are running, I think they might be able to get more value on a Zen character, maybe, so that they can discord and pressure the Pharah more, but I'm not sure if the Brig is really going to be getting very much value on this comp. As they push it into B for free.
They do. It doesn't look like Odyssey were ready to get the defense onto the end of the second point there. So they're going to have to take an early fight in point B. Zim does find a good flux pick, as well as Winterhaven finding one, and the Bob as well, but finding the pick onto the Mercy, always influential. That is the important sort of healer on the side of Talon Redshirts. It's the Baptiste on the side of Odyssey and the Mercy on the side of Talon Redshirts.
Definitely, and I mean, when you're looking at both these teams, the Blue Wolf is going to be making the swap from the Pharah to the Genji. Perhaps this is when the Brig is a much better pick, being able to ward off Genji from the back line, but as I said, both the Sigmas there doing a very, very nice job, picking up 4 or more players on each side. But it turned out that the rally on the side of Odyssey was able to help the members of Odyssey sustain after, and as I say that, actually, they're flanking on the high ground. They pop down the bongo. They're ready to push.
It does go out, but Odyssey were put in that hallway. Very nice kind of avoidance of that bongo and the damage that it brings, but the Sigma does peek in, and with his hyperspace pushes them out into the range of the the supercharger, and they just get deleted for it. Zim does find a pick onto Idlehell, but it just looks like this is going to be a fight win for Talon Redshirts. As I say that, Zim finds another pick onto Luminescence. Celery Man finds a pick on to miss. But it is Talon Redshirts stabilizing here.
Definitely, and I mean, I have to give a lot of kudos for Talon Redshirts. That was a very well-coordinated rotation, very practiced, going through that high ground, putting down the bongo, forcing the team to be pressured in that hallway allows the Sigma to flank just so much damage coming in. The front line just can't get a break there.
Absolutely, the Supercharger coming out on the side of Odyssey here. Let's see if the High Noon can get anything. They're going to stand in, they're going to take cover from it, and it's not going to find anyone. But Winter even finding Celery Man, very influential. Celery Man, just as we've been saying, has been an incredible source of damage for Talon Redshirts, and Link going down again. Just that hero that you do not want to lose, that Baptiste. Sparkle is very nice by her finding the pick off onto Blue Wolf. Very, very nice. And it does look like Talon Redshirts are going to be pushed back basically into their spawn while they wait to regroup.
Definitely, and I mean, that was just a very nice retake all around. All the players doing very well. The very nice Orisa Bongo boosting the damage on the Orisa, allowing them to take the pick on a Celery Man, but only after they're split off because of the High Noon. The zoning High Noon there would actually got quite a bit of value by forcing all the members of Talon Redshirt, except for Celery Man, into that small mini room, allowing the Ashe to be picked off there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very complicated concept, the idea of ults not having to get kills in order to get value there. They can force out some resources, or they can force out positioning, and it's very, very important. And some very big Gravitic Fluxes coming in, forcing out the Immortality Field from both Baptistes. The Amplification Matrix comes in, and Odyssey is going to push back here, but the Blade comes in from Blue Wolf, going to use the Halt to get some early slash damage, but it doesn't look like, oh, what did I say that?
Nice too.
Sparkles, she's going to take Blue Wolf down, but however, it is going to be, it's going to be Talon Redshirts pushing in here, taking some kills.
Yeah, I think the Talon Redshirts need to be a little bit more aggressive. They almost, the side of Odyssey was almost able to stabilize. They still honestly might, just because their spawns are so close. They're waiting way too long to capitalize on the kills that they're getting. It looks like they're still going to be able to take this, but at the same time, almost every single member of Odyssey managed to come back to that fight at least once, which is honestly kind of atrocious. The side of the Talon Redshirts needs to be a little bit better with their aggression, able to take out the players after they get those crucial picks.
Yeah, a lot of crucial picks coming in here for Talon Redshirts, but Celery Man going down, very, very important, but it doesn't look like anyone else is going to get onto the card, and that is going to be round one.
Not a second C9, not a second C9, Jet. They were forced off.
Not a second. They were forced off.
They were forced off. It wasn't a C9.
But 3 points for Talon Redshirts, and now it is up to Odyssey to answer that solid push from Talon Redshirts in their own way, and to also get it 3 points, or they will lose this map.
Definitely. And when you're looking at the Talon Redshirts, I'm just a little disappointed. If they had been a little more aggressive there, maybe gotten a few more of the picks, pressured the front line and the Brig a little more after they killed both the Baptiste and the Ashe, thanks to a little bit of heroics from Blue Wolf. I was honestly hoping for them to go a little aggressive. They might have even managed to finish with over a minute, which would have meant that even if Odyssey finished the map, if they finished in overtime, they wouldn't get a second push. But because they got less than a minute, that means that if Odyssey can get to the very end of this map, then they're guaranteed to have at least another attack.
And we do see here on the team comps, we see Blue Wolf on the Junkrat, on the J Silly. As we've seen in these past few weeks, J Silly may not be actually that silly of a pick because of how much damage he's able to put into these small chokes and into these very tight sort of passages. And so especially if Odyssey just decides to go up this sort of stairway here, which they aren't going to, but just so much damage. And as I say that, Blue Wolf finding the early pick off on Rip and Pip, and just that
was a trap mine there.
Ooh, that is always brutal to fall to, and Rip and Pippin is going to have to make the walk back from spawn, just delaying the attack from...
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a little bit of miscommunication there from Half-Fiber. He gets a contest, taking a lot of damage, almost falling, even though his tanks are just waiting for the support player, Rip and Pippin, to come back. So, might be a little bit of failure in the dive, but even as I say that, they're going in right now.
Yeah, and immediately Zim finds pick up on the Cellarman, just a very crucial pick with how well Cellarman's been doing. Link very, very low, is going to find the pick up on the Winter Haven though, even with how low they are, just finding the pick up onto that Winston who is chasing them. Very, very important, and Justbird is going to find some picks there as a lot of players are down on the side of Odyssey, and it's going to look like a Talon Redshirts fight win here. Again, and as I say that, Mist does find the slash onto Luminescence, but he's going to have to run, and Zim is potentially going to be staggered out here. This could be brutal for how far he is into the backline, going to be taken down so late there. That is brutal.
Definitely, and I mean, that's just a very good stabilization. You're seeing the advantage of that double shield comp rather. Just being able to stabilize really easily. Once they get to that point, and if the dive isn't using those high grounds very effectively, can just really take control of the game. They managed to pick up Winter Haven and Sparkles very early, and the Brig providing so much sustain, and the shield dash being so imperative. When Winter Haven, especially being the linchpin of the team, feeding Ana when Ultra goes down, that's obviously not ideal.
A lot of ults coming in, Mist going to go down, but Blue Wolf finding two with the tire. But a lot of picks coming in on the side of Odyssey. Zim finding multiple picks there on the D.Va. And with just the Sigma on the point, it doesn't look like there are going to be any more contests from Talon Redshirts, and we're going to go into the streets phase.
Blue Wolf tries to pull it out with a pretty massive tire, but as that happens, the damage the Genji had put in was enough. I believe we got a slash or two onto Orisa, a slash and a Sigma, and that's just going to force them backwards. When you take that much damage, you just can't sustain, especially when your Baptiste is forced to use Immortality. It's just backing up, trying to defend himself. Maybe isn't going to be able to heal that front line as much. They're going to fall pretty quickly there, and really the only people that fell there, I believe, was Winter Haven and Mist. And when both your supports are alive and you still have a D.Va on the point, that's really not going any other way.
Early rally coming out from Sparkles, and the amplification mage comes out, and Cellarman finding the pickup onto Half-Fiber, but Cellarman going down, giving his life for it. The D.Va bomb is going to be in here, and it's going to find two. Zim finding taking idle hell. Very, very good bomb there, and it is going to turn this team fight for Odyssey unless Talon Redshirts can pull something amazing out, and it doesn't look like they will going into this next fight, which is going to be either on the way to point C or very, very close to this next objective at point B.
I don't think the Talon Redshirts are going to be able to contest here. Orisa, Junk, and Brig are still respawning right now. And honestly, a lot of the kudos for that has to be going to Zims. They are going to contest, as I say that, though.
They're going to contest, an idle health does go down immediately, just gets deleted. The tire is going to come in from Blue Wolf, but it's going to be too late. They are going to capture point B, about 3.5 minutes for Odyssey, but Talon Redshirts is going to win this fight. But with how close Odyssey spawns are, it's going to be very, very quick for them to just regroup.
I mean, a lot of the heroics here have to be placed on the Zim. Even if he was a little quiet, maybe the first map or two, he's been looking phenomenal on this Nimbani round. And has been one of the reasons that even when Winter Haven sometimes gets picked early, being the ringer here, obviously, he's still been able to show up and get those picks, follow up, just sustain and be that presence on the card that's necessary.
Yeah, amazing play there, however, on the side of Talon Redshirts, completely negating that Nano Blade, but a lot of picks coming in. Zim trying to pick up onto Celeryman. Even though the Genji is going to go down, the Bob does come out, but it's immediately slept and bubbled by the Ana and the Winston. And that is a good response there. And it's going to be very, very hard for the members of Talon Redshirts to get any more contests.
I don't think they even are. Oh, they managed to touch barely.
There, but 2 minutes and 41 seconds compared to 1 minute for Talon Redshirts. And that is a good performance and a good answer from Odyssey.
Definitely, Odyssey looking very nice there. It seems like every round Talon and Redshirts look very, very good on their attack, and then just somewhat fall apart as after Odyssey attack. I mean, Odyssey looking very clean there. Mist and Zim just looking like a very nice duo, just able to do so much damage there and sustain. And I mean, even though Blue Wolf has been pulling up some pretty massive heroics on that, as you said, Jay Silly, it still looked like a pretty dominant showing on the side of Odyssey.
And it does look like Talon Redshirts are going to go back to what has worked for them so far on Numbani here. They're going to go back to this Pharah Mercy combination. And just looking at the team comp on the side of Odyssey, I'm very concerned because there aren't a lot of hit scan. There's the Ana, there's the Diva who can kind of contest, but there's not a lot that can really contest a Pharah Mercy combo, just with how much sustain it has.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of the pressure is going to be on Zim here to pressure down the Pharah Mercy. Obviously, the defense matrix is a massive boon. Back when we had the Goats meta, it was the Diva, which was the reason that Pharah didn't just dominate the triple tank and triple support. Even when it was triple DPS that became a way to fight it, it was still on the side of the Diva to pressure down that Pharah, and I think that's what we're going to see again here. As I say that, it looks like the Talon Redshirts are going to be pushing forward, taking this high ground.
Yeah, they're just pushing this dive off of the high ground, but the thing with dive is that even if they get pushed off the high ground, they can come back just so quickly as Cellarman, Link, and Idle both fall. Sim is going to go down, though, so that is the big counter to that Pharah Mercy down. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to be able to take advantage of that, and it doesn't look like it. Luminescence going to go down. Going down. That's very
a brutal
late.
stagger.
Next here, Idle Hell going on to the Wrecking Ball just to get a touch. Barely does. Just gets slept instantly. And Cellarman also getting stopped instantly. That is as good a defense as you could want for Odyssey.
Pretty much. That's tragic on the side of Talon Redshirts. They managed to do well to take that high ground, but they push the Winston off, but then he just jumps back on, pressures down Baptiste. Zim manages to kill them, and then really just means that the Talon Redshirts are only hoping for a draw. And keep in mind that this series, the way the Owlet does work is it's first of 3 maps. Or first of 3 games. So if this is a draw, it's not really going to be adding any differential. We're going to have to go to, I believe, 6 or 7 maps just to finish this series. And if I'm on the side of Odyssey, though, I'm not worried. You have time to build up your Nano Blade. You have time to build up pretty much any impactful ultimate. And it really is only going to take one victorious push to beat the Talon Redshirts down in this map of Numbani.
But, however, there's 2 minutes and 40 seconds isn't a horrible amount of time, you know?
It is. It kind of is. That's pretty brutal when you're having to push Numbani with pretty much 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to spare? That's like, what, 4 or 5 pushes?
Yeah.
If you're quick.
I mean, definitely not impossible on the side of Talon Redshirts here to defend here with the combo that is coming out. We do have the dive coming out on the side of Odyssey, so Talon Redshirts, if they do need to find an answer, they're going to bunker up on this high ground, on this top left high ground here, very far away from anyone on Odyssey, and they're going to be able to just poke at them and hopefully drain their resources.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of health taken down, but they're going to be forced to maybe drop down, and Jost does drop down.
Oh, that's a massive anti.
That is a massive anti, but Joker drops down alone. Very lucky to stay alive there, just with how easy it would have been to force to just focus him down there. But Blue Wolf doing a lot of work there, the turret, as well as him just doing so much work there, getting 4, I believe, picks there. And that is a lot of time off of Odyssey's time bank. And this is what I'm talking about, that was just one attack and already a minute is gone.
I mean, if you're lucky on the Talon rather on the Odyssey side, you're going to have time to do at least one and maybe a rush one after that. The real problem for them there was Winterhaven going down so early. If he was still around, he would have been able to pressure the Baptiste on the high ground. And if he's gone or unable to heal at least, then the rest of the tanks on the point aren't able to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But this drop down from Jokesbird, very, very unfortunate, because when he drops down like that and just does not have anyone else drop down with him, he is so susceptible to being forced down. Link is going to find the pick on the Zim, which is very, very important, but is going to come in onto the Winston.
Oh, that's a massive anti, though.
But the anti is going to come in. But Blue will find the pick up onto Sparkle as that Molten Core is going to be very influential. But the Blade going to come in from Mist is going to find Blue Wolf. As this Molten Core goes down, Winterhaven going to find the pick up onto Link, and that is going to be very, very important. Ribbon Pippin going to be very, very low here. Going to have to take cover, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to touch, and that is map 3 going to Odyssey 2-1.
Yeah, that was just a very good point. A lot of the credit has to be put on the Ribbon Pippin there. 3 massive antis. First gets the Orisa, forces the use of the Immortality, and forces Sigma and Brig to drop to help her, as well as able to keep the Winston up, even though Zim falls very, very early in that fight, and then hits it onto the Brig, which forces them to play much more defensively, forces them to back up. It gives Halfiber a lot more room to just, Halfiber rather, a lot more room to work. And Ribbon Pippin not getting picked, staying pretty far back, hitting massive antis. That's exactly what you want out of your Ana player.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that we were talking about just how good Zim was doing on that D.Va. Little percentage there, I forgot the percentage as I was talking, but I think it was something like 72% kill participation for him, and that is just incredible, just how much he is able to make that D.Va such a good pick, and gets so much value out of that pick with all of her kit.
Definitely. And I mean, when you're looking at these teams, a lot of the credit has to go to the tank line. I mean, as I just said, and as you just said, even Zims has looked. Zim, rather, not Zims. I don't know why I said Zims, but Zim has been looking very, very good on D.Va. He's been doing a lot of sustain, doing a lot of work. Even as he fell early in that last fight, he does come back and is able to help the monkey survive, especially when it comes to the fight there. And in order to Talon to come back into this match, I'm really looking at their tank line there. They've been pretty quiet, and they've only been playing the double shield. So, I mean, I'd like to see a little more flexibility. I'd like to see perhaps a few more pop-off moments, rather, not pop-up. I don't know why I said pop-up, but pop-off moments. Because, I mean, when you compare the tank lines, I definitely have to say that Odyssey's look stronger.
Mm-hmm. As we go into our next map here, which could be our last map if Odyssey pulls it out, Talon Redshirts need to win this map. They need to do that. So
if they want to bring it to map 5 anyway.
Absolutely. We are going to Temple of Anubis.
Temple of Anubis. Obviously, one of the well-known and well-hated 2CP maps, in my opinion. It's one of the less egregious ones, but this is a map that has some room for flexibility. You can play the dive, you can play the double shield, you can even try Ryan Rush on the last point if you so desire, with a Lucio and a Reaper or something to the like. So I'm, again, as I said, I'm very curious as to how Talon Redshirts decides to adapt. I mean, they can very clearly see what they're doing. It isn't working, and hasn't been working. So I'm just so curious to see what they do to adapt. The DPS line has been looking good. The support line has been pretty consistent. So I think a lot of this has to come down to the tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I'm very interested to see is on the defense for Temple of Anubis. It's a very good Junkrat map. All of the routes to point are very, very tight, and they're very, very good to throw in a lot of Junkrat nades. So as I say that, we do see the J Silly coming out from Odyssey and coming out on Hellfiber. So I'm interested to see how Hellfiber is going to use that Junkrat and how much value he's going to get out of it.
Definitely, and I mean, as you said, Junkrat and Temple of Anubis is the Junkrat map, right? If you're going to play Junkrat, if you have a good Junkrat player, you're gonna play him on Anubis, right? Mm-hmm. And when we look, at least at what we see right now, I'm not too impressed from what I see with Talon Redshirts. They're going for the same exact thing, and if they're not going to play better, they're not going to be a little bit more consistent, then I don't know if this is going to work, and I think we just might see Odyssey once again coming out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do hope that we see some kind of...
Oh, that's brutal.
By Winterhaven getting that pick onto Link with that halt there. Just very, very good. We do see the Echo from Salaryman hiding over on that ledge there. Nice. But just as the rest of her team is deleted.
Definitely. And I mean, a lot of the credit, as you said, has to go to the J Silly there. He put the preset trap in the mine, and that boops Baptiste forward and boops, I believe, the Orisa up as she fortifies. But why that's so important is because it forces out his immortality field, and even if they didn't pick up the kill, that's value enough. You can do just that, and you'd still be getting some value out of the
Oh my god, that is insane. From Hellfiber there, getting his ult so fast and then just ending the fight completely decisively, just deleting Talon Redshirts there. Just brutal.
Heartbreaking, you know. I mean, I actually forgot to mention, but it's just as important. He builds a tire up in that first fight just because they keep trying to force that choke point. And like I said, if I'm the tanks are usually the shot callers. I want to see some variation, see some more flexibility from the Talon Redshirts.
Yeah, I don't like the way they're pushing now. This tight room, very, very good for Junkrat nades as the Bob gets thrown in as well, just to try and protect him. The immortality field is going to be thrown out, but Mist and Zimp are going to find a pickoff onto a lot of Talon Redshirts as the supports are busy trying to take care of the Bob that they're trapped in that room with. And that is another very good showing from Odyssey.
Definitely, and I mean, that's just good play from the entire team. Their comp is perfectly designed around these very, very tight choke points. They have the Junkrat, they have the Orisa, and they have the Sigma, all which have a lot of burst damage that can really punish going through those tight chokes, as well as the Dynamite, which they keep trying to force for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely. The immortality field does come out a little early, which is a little confusing, but we do see the blade coming in from Blue Wolf, gets stunned, but at 1 HP does not get taken down. That is so important. The Supercharger does come out, and there's a lot of picks coming in on the side of Talon Redshirt, but Zim finds a pick off onto Link. That very, very important pick on that main support there. But with just how many picks are coming in on the side of Talon Redshirt, I don't think it's going to be any matter.
Definitely. Oh, maybe though. But it looks like they are going to try and contest, or maybe Hellfiber comes back in.
Silly coming in.
J Silly
does not matter. Just stalls out the point a little more, but at 3 minutes 30 seconds for Talon Redshirts, it's a pretty good defense for Odyssey of point A going into point B. Such a hard nut to crack going in.
Definitely, I'm super happy about it, if I'm honest. You held that for so long, you have another tire built up, you have the Bob. And it's really easy for them to stabilize here, in my opinion. The tire alone just allows you to essentially get a kill if you're careful with it. Yeah. And as I say that, though, he falls, but the Orisa falls, and you really don't want to be pushing without your Orisa, unless they might try and force it.
Push it. They're going to force the issue here, but with just how close these spawns are for Odyssey, Hellfiber is already back and has that tire and is looking for trouble here. He's going to jump in on the back, going to take down that immortality field, then find the pick up an Luminescence, and that is just the stabilization from Odyssey with about 2.5 minutes on the clock for
Yeah.
Talon Redshirts to try point B.
Really good from Odyssey. I mean, they managed to build up so many ults throughout because they push without the Orisa. They don't have any sustain. They don't have really the forward presence you need through your Orisa. Just someone to bunker down to provide so much shielding and health on the point. And think about it. They managed to hold that by using only Bob. And now they have so many resources to push this with.
Like that tire going to come in behind them. It's going to... It does get taken out, but so many of their deployables get taken out. A couple ults coming in on the side of Talon Redshirts here. The blade comes in, but Blue Wolf does not find anything and gets taken down for it. The Gravitic Flux comes in. It does find Sparkles, but so many Gravitic Fluxes are coming in with the Echo, as well as both Sigmas on both sides, using the Gravitic Fluxes.
A scrappy fight.
Absolutely, and scrappy fights are basically a victory for Odyssey in this point because of how fast these respawns are. As we see Hellfiber coming in onto the Doomfist, finding the pick up onto Luminescence as well. And Blue will find the pick up onto Hellfiber in return, but just with how many picks coming in, Mist finding a handful of picks coming in, and just such a good fight from Odyssey there. Not freaking out when they lose point control. They know they have the close spawns, and they know that they can come back on those style heroes like the Doomfist and just take the fight back because it was so scrappy and because they are down people. They can come back with 6 and just win.
And you have to consider that both teams using all their ults is better for the defending team because they have closer spawns and they can just come back and keep fighting until they build them. And really, this is not looking great for the Talon Redshirts. We haven't seen the adaptation I was looking for there. And even though they use 2 consecutive fluxes, they still only get 2 kills out of it. And it allows the opposing Sigma and Zims to get his flux off, get a kill or 2. And then the respawns just come in and they are able to hold.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a little bit of a kill trade there. We had one person getting taken down, but then Blue Wolf getting taken down by the Junkrat passive, which is dropping grenades after getting taken down. And Hellfiber taking out Blue Wolf again this time, not having to die for it. But we see a little bit of a split up approach from both of these teams. We have one push down main and one push over on the right. And I mean, to see if this is going to work, this sort of pincer move is going to work. A couple of picks coming in on the side of Odyssey, and as we said, even though many picks are coming in on the side of Talon Redshirts, even though it seems like it should be an even fight, there's just so much closer spawns for Odyssey, and they're just going to come in with their greater numbers, and they're going to win.
Man manages to take down the Junkrat with the Ash hip fire while he's up in the flux. Does fall in the end though, as they're not even gonna get a tick on point B, and that is heartbreaking if you're the Talon Redshirts. As I've said, ever since Hanamura, actually. Not Hanamura, there hasn't been a Hanamura. I can't speak. Numbani, I don't know why I confused Numbani with Hanamura, but Numbani, rather. Talon Redshirts are just so passive as a team, in my opinion. They are, even when they get a pick, they can't seem to decide quick enough whether they want to go in, whether they want to stay back and stabilize. Like, we saw them getting picked first, getting trades, and still being indecisive, waiting too long when deciding whether they want to go in or whether they want to stay out, and that's resulting in, because of the faster respawns and because of the more coordinated play, Odyssey to just stabilize and easily take those fight wins.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a split-second decision, though. You get the pick, and it's like, are we going in or are we not? And you have to decide in just a split second. It's either go in, or wait. And it's such a hard choice to make. As we see on the defense here from Talon Redshirts, they really want to hold this point A here if they have any hope of getting a victory and taking us to a map 5. If they lose this point, their best hope is a draw here. So,
Definitely.
See the comp coming in is the double shield with the Torb. Torb throwing his turret in a bit of an odd place over on that little market stall.
My guess is with that turret spot, he's trying to scout for Sombras, maybe? Or for any tracer flanks or anything like that. As we see the... oh, that's a massive boop coming off from Zims.
That is absolutely...
stellar play from a really great player on Odyssey.
Stellar play from that Wrecking Ball. He's just bowling into the enemy team. It is just bowling night for him. Someone should tell him he's playing Overwatch. But as we see, Link getting the pick off on a Winter Haven, that's a crucial pick. That dive tank is very, very good, but Zim getting the pick off on a Luminescence support character, very, very important there. Sparkle's getting 2, but she does go down for it by Celery Man, but Halfiber is going to find the pick, and that is going to be a quick fight win on Objective A, and now very brutal for Talon Redshirts. Can only really hope for a draw here, unless this Lucio tries to come in, does a miracle here, and it does not look like he will. Going in to point B with 6 minutes. 6 minutes. They're going to have to pull out a monster hold here to try and do it. You think they can do it, chat?
I mean, that was an incredibly coordinated play. Very well done. Rippin' Pippin hits a fantastic anti onto the Orisa and onto the Torb there, which forces them to be unable to be healed by the Baptiste. Just as it wears off, they're being immediately pushed by Mist, who goes in on the Baptiste, forces them into that corridor next to the point. And because of that, Orisa and Torb are very low, so Sparkles can just swing on them, and then they fall because they're not getting any sustain.
Absolutely, and coming into this fight, there's so many ultimates on the side of Odyssey here, and Mist just find the pick off onto Blue Wolf with the blade here. Celery Man does find Halfiber, but Zim finding the pick on Idaho with the mines here. A lot of picks coming in, but Talon Redshirts are going to be taking the pick, which is very, very important here, as we were talking about on the other attack on point B. But they have to stay on the point here. It's so close to getting 1 tick, and that is 1 tick is all Odyssey needs here to win this map and this match. All they need, 1 person left on the point. They just need a few picks either side. The EMP comes out massive. That's massive. As long as he gets some picks off, the winner goes down here. Back. 1 player does go down off it, but it is just so close, and it's going to be very, very important that both sides stay on the card here. Mist finding 2 on this Genji here. Very good for Odyssey, and Mist finding another, but Luminescent finding the pick on the Sparkles is going to be very, very important here. That the Brigitte heals not going to be there for a very, very long time. Moved off the attack, and that is going to be that wrecking play was amazing. Oh,
very nice job.
That was incredible from Zim there. Just amazing with that, taking the point with that, just taking that last little tick that he needed. Let's watch this tire there. Oh,
just great play from Odyssey there. As I said, I just didn't see enough aggression from the side of the Talon Redshirts. They were way too passive there. Even when they got 2 or 3 picks, because Mist and because Rip and Pippin are able to stay alive on that point alongside Zim, or rather Winter Haven, they're able to just sustain and stay there. And they managed to win, even though 3 people fall and all 6 are back from the spawn on the side of Talon Redshirts.
Yeah, absolutely. I just read the chat and I saw Help Halfiber is in my house with Rip Tire, and just absolutely
not what you want to see.
Just scary thought, just with how good his Rip Tires were throughout that map. And we should think about our player of the match coming in. Oh, it's such a hard choice coming in for thinking about all of the people on Odyssey and just how good each of them were. I have to go with, I'm going to go with Mist personally, just with how good his Genji was there. Just incredible. And just so good with the apparent, with just how scary he was throughout. What about you here?
My MVP definitely has to be Zim here. He was incredible. Maybe a little bit more quiet on the first map, maybe first 30 minutes or so, but then he just started to come alive. He was sustaining so well. He had massive fluxes. He was really doing so much work, especially on the ball, on the attack on Anubis, which helped him secure this game. He boops 4 members at the very beginning of Anubis attack. Right after that, he pile drives. He gets so much damage that leads to them getting the first point. And then because he comes back so quickly, even though he gets picked second point, he can come back and help his fellow players, and Mist and Rip and Pippin, who actually would be my second choice. Rip and Pippin hit some incredible anti-nades there. he's just able to do so well when it comes to sustaining and doing so much damage there. It honestly just incredible play from the entirety of Odyssey, looking so practiced and so coordinated.
So hard. It was so hard for me to even pick a player of the match and pick just one person to highlight on Odyssey because it was such a good team performance.
Definitely.
It's such a good team performance from everyone there, and everyone, even the ones that we didn't mention, Halfiber, Sparkles, Winterhaven, just all did really well on each of their respective roles.
Definitely. And Talon Redshirts, they looked so good on the first map. They had some really good play. Their double shield was pretty good. It was pretty consistent. But what I failed to see was the adaptation, the aggression. And even though they did lose in a pretty convincing fashion on this last map, they had such good aggression. That first map looked so dominant, especially thanks to Salaryman, who pulled off some heroics when it came to his Ashe play. Able to do so much work, and on his especially on the end on Anubis, the brightest spot on that team looked to be Salaryman playing that Echo. He got so many picks. He even at the end hip fired to kill the Junkrat. And I don't know, if I'm this team, I want to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more decisive, and I definitely think you can start to take games off of teams like Odyssey.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so much that can be done between these two teams, and just so much that we're looking to see them improve on going into Season 3.5 of Owlet. I'm very excited to see what this next season has in store for both of these teams. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we are going to be interviewing one of the players from Odyssey, and we're going to be talking to them about the match and about their thoughts.
Definitely.
We will see you then. Yeah.
Don't click away.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And we are now here with Zim, who was a phenomenal off tank, and he played the Winston pretty well as well. He played the Diva, he played the Sigma, he played it all to a phenomenal level, leading, of course, being the captain of Odyssey to a definitive victory against the Talon Redshirts. Sim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just had a really fun match with my team, and yeah.
So, like we just mentioned, you're the captain of Odyssey, right?
Yes, I'm their captain.
So, especially starting this game, you lost the first round on Busan, even though you picked it. So, how do you, as a captain, guide your team after that into sort of not falling into the mental boom, into the negative mindset, into eventually taking the next map?
My first mindset was to see if we can take the enemy team off double shield, seeing that they only played Orisa's Egg. So I wanted to see what they would do on Gibraltar, to see if they were capable of playing other compositions or if they were stuck on what's called double shield. And when we rolled out on Gibraltar on dive and they were on double shield, I pretty much realized, oh, this is a double shield only team. So we pretty much just adjusted from there because we pretty much just wanted to scout out their comps and what they're actually playing. So as a captain, just making sure we played something that can give us an advantage map-wise would allow us to win. It was an actual scare when they took Busan, though, because we actually practiced that map a little bit.
Definitely. So you definitely played Sigma and Diva very well there. And coming from the captain mindset, do you shot call when it comes to the dive composition?
Yeah, I usually shot call, come up with plans with ultimates before the fights, and I do a lot of target calling too. But the only thing I don't really do com-wise is ult track, and I usually just have someone else on the team ult track, and I do most of the shot calling, yeah.
All right. So are there any players on your team that you really want to highlight that you think have been doing just an amazing job that maybe us casters might not have seen?
First thing I wanted to do is give credit to our ringer tonight, Winter, who actually popped off on main tank tonight. And Diva when I threw him onto the wrong role because I autopiloted to main tank. But he came in for us as a personal friend because I played with him in the past on a different team. But he ranked for us and actually filled our main tank role perfectly. And the other player I'd like to specifically highlight would be Mist for actually popping off in games today. I mean, I think he went 42-1 on Temple, and he actually hard popped.
That's crazy.
Gotta give credit to the entire team for the most part doing their jobs, playing really well, and getting us to a victory.
So we just talked about your own team. Obviously, you're the captain. You know a lot more about your team's capabilities, what they're able to do, and the heights they can hit. So what I'm also curious is, you just faced the Talon Redshirts. So who do you think was the most threatening member of their team? And how do you think their own plan going into the game, you mentioned how they were a double shield only team, or at least that's how you perceived them, affected your playstyle. How do you think they can improve in the future?
I think they have one of the same problems as a different team I play for, where they practice against the meta, like double shield versus double shield, a ton, I'd assume, given that they almost constantly play double shield. But when we went dive, they seemed pretty unsure of what to do quite often. So I'd recommend that they see if they could scrim against teams that play more brawl or dive to get used to different kind of compositions they might run up against. But for their most threatening member, their off tank was actually pretty solid with the way off angled and some damage to our team, which I spent the majority of my time on Sigma trying to neutralize his own. Or his or her, I do not know. But their off tank and Blue Wolf, I believe their captain actually on DPS also popped off pretty hard.
Yeah, I believe that was Idlehell, if I'm not mistaken, who was playing the Sigma on their side. So he definitely was playing pretty well. He got some pretty massive fluxes on both Gibraltar and on Anubis. And I guess to wrap it up, unless you have any other questions, Kaylee?
I do not.
Then we are going to ask, are you looking forward to the regular season after this preseason game? What are you looking forward to? Are there any specific teams that you're looking forward to facing?
Not really specific teams, just kind of enjoying playing for the team I'm on right now. It's like we pretty much got everybody back together from either playing for different teams or just taking a break from Overwatch entirely to come back for Owlet, and it's just nice to be playing with everybody again.
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you so much, Zim. You've been a great guest, and that has been our Majors game for this second Majors preseason game of the Owlet 3.5 season. Stay tuned. I believe right now going on is a Owlet Minors game. If you can head over, I believe it is posted, the Twitch link, to the Minors game in the Discord server. Be sure to check them out. Don't click away. We'll be back soon with another preseason Majors game. And thank you, everyone here, for a phenomenal series.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited to see what this season has in store and what these next few preseason games have. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Myself, my name, forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here. I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.